How did this one-man band manage to cook up a pie that's given Bethesda's Hi-Fi Rush a run for its money? Let's take a slice out of the success story of Pizza Tower, the beloved 2D platformer that's gotten over 15,000 glowing reviews on Steam, and see what we can learn from its gameplay loops. To analyze this cheesy masterpiece, we're going to break it down into three types of loops. First, the story loop, next the core loop, and last but not least, the input loop. In Pizza Tower, you play as Peppino Spaghetti, a surprisingly agile and powerful balding Italian on a mission to destroy the titular Pizza Tower and save his restaurant from annihilation. Tool the Pizza, the name of the studio, stated that they wanted to make a spiritual successor to Warrior Land 4, and comparing the two briefly, we can certainly see some similarities. The story game loop is clearly not the main focus of the game, and it doesn't contribute significantly to the overall fun factor, but rightfully so. It serves as a means to advance the story and unlock new stages only. The game is divided into 5 levels, each of which consists of multiple stages that must be completed to acquire points. After collecting enough points, the player may face a boss battle, and finally gain a key that will grant them access to the next level of the tower. This loop repeats itself with a sprinkle of storytelling here and there until you've reached the top of the tower and the game is completed. However, in the case of this wildly successful indie game, the creator of Tour de Pizza did not hold any punches. The level selection in Pizza Tower is full of lore, inside jokes, and animation, and a fun thing to do and interact with, making the level selection an actual fun and rewarding loop in of itself. In Pizza Tower, the central game loop is an adrenaline-fueled rush of speed and precision. As the player, you're tasked with guiding our hero, Peppino Spaghetti, through a series of levels that requires split-second timing and expert platforming skills. Each level features unique obstacles and enemies and mechanics that keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting. But what really sets Pizza Tower apart is its approach to difficulty. Instead of relying on the traditional health bar, the game rewards the player for speed and skill. Every time a Peppino takes damage or falls off the stage, their combo score simply resets, but the player gets to continue from where they were and quickly regain their momentum. This creates an intense sense of tension and builds a palpable feeling of momentum as the player progresses through the level, dodging obstacles and racing towards the finish line. And the excitement doesn't stop there. Once you've completed a level, you're tasked with retracing your steps and racing back to the beginning before a timer runs out. This added challenge ramps up the difficulty even further and encourages the player to explore every nook and cranny of each level in the search of hidden secrets and shortcuts, which the game is full of. Once you've completed a level, the game will reward you with a score that's based on your speed, your combos, and other factors. But don't expect to breeze through the levels on your first try. Pizza Tower is a fast-paced game that demands mastery of its level and secrets. You'll need to replay each level multiple times to truly master it. Discovering new secrets and optimizing your speed and your combos count along the way. But even though you may be playing similar levels repeatedly to improve your score, each stage have a unique game mechanic that will keep things fresh and exciting for you. You will encounter items that will change Peppino's behavior and new obstacles that will require you to have brand new approaches to the platformer. This variety ensures that each level really feels distinct and engaging, even as you hone your skills and push yourself to beat your high scores. In short, the core game loop of Pizza Tower is a heart-pumping thrill ride that never gets old. With its fast-paced gameplay, unique approach to difficulty, and endless replayability, it's no wonder why this indie gem has become a fan favorite among platformer enthusiasts. The input loop, or the small loop in Pizza Tower, consists of the repetitive actions that the player must perform in order to complete the game's core loop. These actions include running, crouching, dashing, grabbing, throwing, climbing, falling, and many more. While these tasks are not inherently unique to a 2D platformer, Pizza Tower went out of their way to make them as enjoyable as possible. Tool the Pizza has done a really good job at making these actions as responsive as possible and extremely well animated. The developers have also added a lot of humorous and tense animation while performing these tasks, which enhances the overall fun of the game's core play loop. The over-the-top expressive animations are so smooth, in fact, that it makes you feel like you're watching a 90s episode of Ren and Stimpy. The entire world is extremely animated, and this is what makes this game so special. Most 2D platformers will have a standard amount of animation to walk, jump, run, etc. But in Pizza Tower, this is taken to the next level and then some. This makes every small button push an extremely satisfying input loop. And if we think about it, if simply pressing the jump button is so satisfying thanks to these animations, we are already on a great way of having a very successful game. Pizza Tower is a game that has truly sets itself apart from the crowd with its attention to detail and focus on the three pillars of game loop: input, core gameplay, and story loop. The input loop in particular is a standout feature, with the developers spending what I would imagine is countless of hours perfecting each animation to make sure that every button press is an experience in of itself. From breakdancing to climbing to falling, the animations are so well done that it really feels like a 90s cartoon has come to life on your screen while you're playing. But the game's appeal doesn't end with the input loop alone. The core gameplay loop is equally captivating, with the player racing through the level at lightning fast speeds, dodging obstacles, and collecting power-ups, all while trying to maintain their combo streak. The sense of tension and extreme excitement is palpable, and it is hard not to get sucked into the game's high energy atmosphere. The story loop may be light, but it is still silly and entertaining, adding yet an extra layer of enjoyment to the game. However, Tool the Pizza wisely focused on the input loop and core gameplay loops, recognizing that these were the key elements that would keep the players coming back for more, and comeback they have, as Pizza Tower has taken the gaming industry by storm, quickly climbing the ranks to compete with AAA titles. And as a wildcard, part of the game's appeal lies in its 90s cartoon aesthetic and the heavy guitar-based soundtrack. For these older players, so playing the game, this can feel extremely nostalgic.